What's up, everybody? It's a late episode of The Big Thing today, whether you're getting this on podcast form or the YouTubes. So I was, full transparency, shooting a rewatch episode for tomorrow and was doing some other things related to some Schmodown stuff and other things. So I had to postpone. I had some meetings this morning also, so I had to postpone. But I said, I got to get a Big Thing episode out. I have to. Plus, there's a lot of stuff to talk about. Doctor Strange announced that they're coming to Disney Plus pretty soon. The Multiverse of Madness, that is. That's coming. So we'll be talking about that. There is some beef that was going on that I didn't realize a couple of days ago with Frank Stallone and Michael B. Jordan, with some rumors that Sylvester Stallone was kicked out of Creed 3. Interessante. George Miller is filming Furiosa. That's coming out, too. But there's a lot of questions that came in. I said, I'm going to do a full episode today. And even though there's not a ton of news, I figured maybe I'll take some questions from the audience. I put some stuff on my Facebook page and YouTube on the community page. And I said, ask me some questions, maybe some stuff and topics that you guys want to talk about. And the one that came in that I think I'm going to make, obviously, the main topic, if you clicked on this episode to see, a lot of rumors about Quinlan Vos. Jedi from both the Clone Wars, Phantom Menace is his first appearance, but Clone Wars, and the thing I know him the best from is Christy Golden's Dark Disciple novel. Yeah, spoiler for Obi-Wan, you didn't know? He was rumored, not rumored, but he was mentioned in the show. So the question now is, A, is he going to show up at all? And B, as you saw in the topic of this this video, will O'Shea Jackson Jr. play him? That's what we're going to get into. That and more. And before we do it, I know a lot of people have been asking about it, and it's finally here. Not only the Big Thing T-shirts are up on the store. There's a Sith Council T-shirt up on the store. Well, that we'll get to in a second. Show some class and get a Show Some Class shirt, will you? Just a little. Show a little class. So those are all available on the store right now. And as I put up there beforehand, make sure you subscribe to the podcast. Listen to the Big Thing on the go, whether it's on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. You got Big Thing, you got Sith Council now, and eventually we're going to be adding one more episode a week, plus the rewatch series. So make sure you do all that because it helps out the show tremendously. And people are always asking, how are you going to support? How can you support if you're not part of the Patreon? That's all you got to do. Just subscribe and download the episodes. All right, let's get into this thing. It's the Big Thing. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to this episode of The Big Thing. All right, let's just jump into some news first. News first. And then we'll get into your questions, which essentially is news as well. Beavis and Butthead have a new trailer out. I didn't watch that yet, so I can't talk about it. Otherwise, I'd be lying to you. And I don't want to do that. We have too good of a relationship. Trust is everything. Can't do it. Haven't seen it. And then I guess there's an Arachnophobia remake coming out too. Look at this. Okay, the first thing to talk about, though, is this Doctor Strange news. The sequel gets a Disney Plus date. It's Doctor Strange, good old Garthy Franklin. I don't know him well enough to call him Garthy. In fact, I don't know him at all. Garthy Franklin writes, Disney Plus has today announced that Marvel Studios' Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness will arrive on the service exclusively June 22nd. It's 20 days away, if my math is correct. The Sam Raimi directed film will thus arrive on the service 40 days after. Who cares? 48 days after its May 6th debut in cinemas. So far, the film has taken in 376 domestic, 879 million worldwide at the box office to date. The release also comes just over 2 weeks ahead of the next MCU entry to hit screens with Taika Waititi's Thor: Love and Thunder, which hits cinema on July 8th. This is just the way it goes nowadays. Meaning, remember when you used to get shows that or movies in the theater and then you got to wait about a year before it hits HBO, or times are changing. And so many different things, especially the last 2 years when things were getting direct, in theater, on streaming, released at the same day. Now people want it, and you're gonna lose people if you wait too long. So they're going, okay, let's look at like the Batman. The Batman was out in the theater. I think it's a smart move, honestly. Once the tickets start going down, get it. It's still in the zeitgeist, man. Put it on your streaming service, and I think that's a good move for Disney. Right away. Plus, it leads right into Thor. This is a great move, as opposed to Thor comes out and then, oh yeah, right, Doctor Strange came out, and you're also asking people from Doctor Strange, if you haven't seen it, all right, this is the latest one in the connectivity of this of the MCU, so get on board, watch it now. This is what we did last, and this is what we're doing next. I didn't necessarily love Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. I'll probably give it a rewatch on the Disney Plus. I wouldn't go out and see it in the theater again. I know that some people love this movie. I thought it was and I wonder how I will feel about it on a rewatch at home. Some people, I saw a lot of comments from the spoiler reviews that we did, and people said that they liked it better on the second watch. Maybe not. I don't know. But I will say that I think it is a good move for them releasing it this month, not too far away from where it released. Smart move. I mean, came out, a month ago? Whatever the hell it was? I don't remember. They said it in that report I just read, and now it's gone right out of my head. But nonetheless, it's coming out. I think it's a good move. What say you guys? Go ahead and comment. Tell me what you think. All right. Now, that's that. The next one, Percy Jackson. Percy Jackson is a very popular book series, and I can tell you very popular in the Harloff household, meaning that my oldest has read it many times. She loves it. And it's hilarious now because she watched those movies when they came out, and she read the books, and she loved everything. And then, now she's a 10-year-old girl, and she reads stuff on the internet now, and she's like, I don't like the movies. It's not true enough to the books. And nothing against the actors, she says. Just don't like the books. And she's not wrong, from what a lot of people say. The Disney Plus TV series adaptation of Rick Riordan's, I don't know how the hell to say that. Percy, I was going to call my daughter, but I realized she doesn't have a cell phone. Percy Jackson and the Olympians novels has officially begun production, with Riordan posting the first photo from the set on Instagram. The live-action series tells the fantastical story of a 12-year-old modern demigod, Percy Jackson, who's just coming to terms with his newfound supernatural powers when the sky god Zeus accuses him of stealing his master lightning bolt. Now Percy's got to trek across America to find it and restore order to Olympus. The cast is Walker Sobel as Percy, Arian Simhadri as Grover, Leah Sava Jeffries as Annabeth, Virginia Cole as Sally Jackson, Glenn Turman as I don't know who any of these people are, but there's a lot of people in this movie. The first season will take its inspiration from the Lightning Thief novel and will consist of 8 episodes. Again, you guys know how I'm feeling about TV to movies, and I know there's a lot of debate now, especially, and we'll get into it with Obi-Wan, and people are like, movies. Sorry, I'm still a TV guy, over it. And I see all the discourse and nonsense about, how it's becoming another Last Jedi thing. It's so funny. I'm in such a different headspace these days than I was back in the day. It's like, back in the day, I felt like, if you threw a piece of meat and you watch 2 Rottweilers just fight over it, and you're like, wait a minute, you got to break them up. Because, it's just an angry Rottweiler over there, they're fighting. Let me try to break it up. Let me try to help. Now it's just let them fight. Who cares? It's too exhausting. It's so exhausting. It's so stupid. It's movies and TV. You don't like it, you don't like it. You got to it's so stupid. It really is. People getting that. When you see everything that's going on in the world, I hear Sebastian Maniscalco. You're turning on the news, and you're getting upset about Darth Vader's lines and whether or not they're gonna line up to episode 4. Go outside and jog. It's like so silly. It's so silly. I can understand being upset about it. Being like saying, hey, wait a minute. Hold on, and questioning it. That's your right. Being angry about it. and like it's hilarious. It's hilarious. Anyway, go ahead, go nuts. Anyway, what the hell was I talking about? TV and Percy Jackson. I think novels and video games, only way you should go is TV and streaming, and because they're there's just too much that you cut out. Like think about like a long movie. Think about Zack Snyder's Justice League. That movie is significantly better as a 4-hour film. I mean, hell, Batman v Superman, his cut is a significantly better film. It's a long movie. Both of them are long movies, but better because they're long. If you cut those, when you cut those movies down, you lose a piece of what they really are, no doubt. Now, you have to do that for novels. You have to. Even in Harry Potter, which I like all those movies. There's a lot out of Harry Potter that is missed from the novels because they just have to. You can't make a movie that long. Otherwise, you're going to have a 4 or 5 hour movie and you just can't do it. TV shows allows you to stretch it out when you have you're basically making an 8-hour movie. So it's funny because I was never a massive TV person, but I know that, especially if you listen to my show, you know, yeah, we get it. You like TV better, build out the characters. Shut up and do your Arnold impression. I get it. You're not wrong. First of all, you do that. You want to you put the movie out there. You put the TV show with more of I don't read too much, but when I do, I figured, what would that be like? Who knows? I don't care. Yeah. All right. So Percy Jackson coming to Disney Plus. They're moving. They're shaking. They're grooving. What's next? I want to get to all your questions, so I want to see what else. Is there anything? I mean, there's a Fatal Attraction series? Holy shit. What the hell is that? So there's a TV series adaptation of Fatal Attraction for Paramount Plus. I'm not going to shit on this because Paramount Plus is pretty awesome. You guys are sleeping on the offer. Again, respect to people who reviewed it. Stupid takes. I guess that's not respect, but stupid takes. I told Ellis if I can get on Rotten Tomatoes, it was wrong show. We have to do that one. Everybody that I talk to that's not a critic loves that show. I don't know what the hell these critics are watching. So Amanda Peet is going to join it. Project is a deep dive reimagining of the film that will explore Fatal Attraction, the themes of marriage and fidelity through the lens of a modern attitude. Pete is going to be the wife, played by Ann Archer back in the day, and joins co-stars Joshua Jackson and Lizzie Kaplan in the role of the philandering husband and the obsessive woman he has an affair with. Interesting. Okay. So I'm on board, man. And I like that Lizzie Kaplan. So to see her in that type of role, it's a good cast. All right, hey, if it works, it works. We'll see. What's the other one? No, this is George Miller's. There's the Furiosa. How old is George Miller? George Miller's got to be like 92 years old. Good for him. All right, let's see. This is the. Where is everything that I have? I don't know what's happening. Where's my stories? There it is. Okay, George Miller. Furiosa. It just started filming. Chris Hemsworth. I guess he's in it. He's confirmed in a social media posting that filming has well and truly begun on the George Miller-directed Mad Max Fury Road prequel, Furiosa. The Thor star revealed a photo of a slate from the set of the movie, which has begun its shoot in the Australian outback in the Broken Hill in South Wales. The actor, alongside, this is a good cast, Anna Taylor-Joy and Miller, all arrived in the area in mid-May ahead of the shoot, but Miller subsequently jetted out to attend Cannes for the premiere of his most recent film, 3,000 Years of Longing. Tom Burke and Yahya Abdul-Mateen II co-star in Furiosa. I just saw him in that ambulance. I don't like that ambulance, which is said to be a span of a 15-time period and has Taylor-Joy playing a younger version. Oh, Oh, I thought that Charlize Theron was actually Furiosa. Look at me. See, I don't know what's going on at all. One key change with the new film is cinematographer Simon Duggan is taking over for John Seal. Interesting. I thought John Seal did an amazing job. Simon Duggan, both Great Gatsby and Hacksaw Ridge, beautifully filmed. But there was something about that Mad Max in that last one. Pretty damn good. Huh. I'll talk about that next. I'm on board for the Furiosa. George Miller's directing it. I'm on board for it. I like that the last one, The Fury Road, what was it, 2015, I think it was? So it's like 7 years now. I mean, let's see. I'm going to guess. You guys probably know, but I'm going to guess. I'm going to say George Miller is 91. Hey, Siri, how old is George Miller?
George Miller is 77 years old.
Not even close. Not even close. He's aged the guy by 14 years. Good job, jerk off. 77 to 91. Who else? Who the hell's 91? Somebody's 91. I mean, James Earl Jones. He's still doing stuff. John Williams. Cracking tunes. Smashing it up. He's doing it. So, George Miller, all right, well, he's even younger than I thought he was. So, never mind. Still, 77 to be directing. I get tired directing scenes. Schmodown. I get tired watching long movies, much less directing them. So, but I'm glad they're doing that movie. It's a good cast. I like to see, there's a little more raw, those movies, you know. I like to see Hemsworth in something a little more raw. Yeah, obviously, you know he can do comedy and those things, but let's see him get a little bit more, haven't seen him do something like that in a while. All right, here's the other thing. Someone is going to ask me about this in the questions. So I'll get to it now and probably have to skip over it once you ask. So
apologies.
What the hell's going on with Creed 3? What the hell's going on? Frank Stallone was doing it wasn't even doing an interview. It was an Instagram post. I couldn't even find it afterwards. I think someone screenshot it. That's where I read it. But it was like 7-8 days ago. And Frank Stallone just blasted Michael B. Jordan. Insinuated that Stallone was kind of driven from the movie against his own will. And said that this kid's trying to kind of take over the franchise. So there is no Rocky without Stallone. And then I went back to watch an interview that Michael B. Jordan gave, and essentially said the reason why Stallone isn't in it because it was a Creed movie, and they want to move forward with the story. I'm on two different sides of this thing. The first is I understand that. I understand that they want Adonis Creed, and they basically said that they want Adonis Creed to people to attach to him and not just have to rely on Rocky. I get that. And I understand them wanting to do that because that's part of it. And Stallone is certainly, in his franchise, moved and shuffled characters in and out and things that he's wanted to do. However, it is Stallone's franchise. Either way, even though, because Creed, you attach to Adonis Creed. And Michael B. Jordan, I thought, did a great job as Adonis. I love the movies. I love 1 and 2. And I love him. I think he's great. And he did a great job in establishing the character and who the character was. But you attached to this character because of the relationship that Rocky Balboa had with Apollo Creed. And everything you knew about Apollo Creed through Rocky Balboa. That was part 1. You attached to part 2 because of the history of Rocky Balboa and Ivan Drago. Now, if Stallone didn't want to come back and said, I'm not, I'm good. And they're like, okay, well, we're just going to move on without you, and we're just going to do it. And then hopefully they get attached to Adonis, and we'll tell the story without you. If he was completely written out of the movie and not asked to come back at all and just kind of pushed out of it, I don't know. I'm not a fan of that. I mean, even if it's like a scene where, he goes and has a couple conversations with him and he's off, with his son or doing something, you do one scene. If that's the real case, the only reason that people are buying merit into this, putting merit into it, is because apparently Stallone liked his brother's post. So nothing really else has been said about that, and I don't know. That's something. I'm try to get Frank Stallone on this show, find out what the hell's going on, because I don't know, man. I don't love that. Still excited for the movie. Still want to see the movie, but you can't. And again, this is speculation. But if Stallone wants to come back, you put Rocky in the movie. It was still Adonis's movie, both 1 and 2. 1 maybe had a little bit more Balboa with the attention, and maybe that's where, as an actor, an ego gets in. More people were talking about Stallone. He was nominated for the role, and 2 was very attached to the Rocky story, and maybe he just wanted to completely move forward from it. But to push him out, if that happened, kind of shitty. Just saying. But I don't know if that happened. No one said that it has except Frank Stallone. And it's far from over. Okay. If you got that, you're old. Here we go. Let's get into some stuff. Before I even do that, before I get into the questions, and there's a ton of them and good ones, I want to tell you guys, there's a lot of creators out there. Watching the show, listening to the show. So many new subscribers that we picked up during Star Wars Celebration, I found, that are like doing videos. Get story blocks. Because you're using video, you're doing new stuff with your video, and it's the most effective way to capture an audience's attention. And as a result of this, modern storytellers, they're always challenged with creating more video content at a higher quality, and you're involving more voices in your process, and you're distributing on more platforms than ever before. And there's a lot of barriers that people face when you're making videos, whether it's output demands, you got time, you got budget, you got knowledge, creative inspiration, passion, burnout, mental health. Storyblocks makes it possible for creators to keep up with the growing demands for modern video content, so you can bring all your stories to life, and you can stop sacrificing your vision due to time, budget, or resources. It's a great thing to have. If you haven't tried it, I'm getting a lot of people who have been trying this since we've been with them, and they're telling me good things. And I'm enjoying it too. For stuff that we're doing at Skybound right now, it's able to bring on story blocks, and it's awesome. They have an ever-growing library, and it's very demand-driven, and they're always constantly optimizing and adding to the 4K HD footage. They have After Effects, Premiere Pro templates, music, images, sound effects, whatever you need. And the assets are royalty-free, and you can use your downloaded content anywhere for commercial and personal use. You can choose a plan that works for you from their select of flexible subscriptions and scale, and give you all the content and tools that you need. If you're a member of a large creative team, marketing agency, media organization, enterprise license has your back with comprehensive coverage for your entire company. It enables you to distribute wherever and whenever. So you go to storyblocks.com/bigthing, and you should check out Storyblocks and sign up for their unlimited all access plan. Again, that's storyblocks.com/bigthing. Now, I know that a lot of you people have always been asking you. You've been asking yourself. But you always people say, "Hey, I can't support the show financially all the time. What do I do?" And I mentioned the podcast. I mentioned that too. And some people say, "Hey, I can do some stuff financial, but I can't be Patreon every month. What helps you?" And I said, "Look, man, help yourself. Check out our sponsors and check out Storyblocks. Get it. That helps the show. You should do that. Go to the link in the description, and that's what you got. Are we going to get to some questions? And there's a lot. I posted this on my Facebook page, and I posted it on the YouTube community, and I got a lot of responses. I'm going to start with Russell Weitherman. I hope I said that right. Russell says, apparently James Earl Jones' voice in Kenobi was done through the Respeecher program, as it says so in the end credits. Thoughts? It worked, man. That's my thoughts. It worked. It's funny because I think that Luke sounds too mechanic when they do it with him. There's no really emotion to it. I think Vader sounds perfect. I think he sounds perfect. I think he sounds like Vader Episode 4 or Vader Episode 5 Vader. And I was like, that was exactly what I was looking for or paying attention to when the second they show him in that scene when he's talking to Reva, and I go, all right, here we go. I love James Earl Jones, significantly older voice in Rogue One and Rebels. So it pops up, and I'm like, that sounds like Vader, the Vader I was first introduced to. So they're able to do that through the program. Do it all day long. I think it sounds fantastic. And James Earl Jones gets a check for it. You know? Sign me up if I'm him. I loved that. I absolutely loved that. I thought it sounded great. Thought it sounded absolutely great. Okay, next question. Timothy Williams. Which wrestler from the 80s do you think could have made the leap to mega movie star similar to what The Rock has done? That's a tough one because you got to look at the times, right? When they, like, Roddy Piper was a guy that I wish he would have been done more stuff back then in different roles. Roddy just had such a gift of gab, and just had that personality. Jake the Snake could have probably done, if he was back then, he was kind of in a messed up state, but done some kind of dramas and things of that nature. Would have liked to seen him. I'm trying to think some of the great performers at that time. I mean, Hogan was a terrible actor, but had that chemistry, obviously, or that the charisma. Randy Savage, he's just a little hard to go around talking like this all the time, brother, and being a leading man. I don't know back then. I think that all the ones that really popped in the 80s, and I mean, Bret Hart, no, that was a real. I mean, he was never really. I got to probably say Roddy. Roddy probably could, and Jake the Snake probably could have done some more things. Mega movie star, though, I think the guys that popped inside of that popped. I don't think there were a lot of people that were held back as far as acting goes that could have acted. And any of the ones who could really act kind of and try to do it anyway. Like Stone Cold's not like a great actor, but he still got his shot because of Stone Cold. He's fine, not terrible, but yeah, I don't think anybody else really. I don't know. Maybe this is some of the people I'm not even thinking about. Who knows? Bruno Sammartino. All right, Christopher Lay. The future of Star Wars movies. The Disney Plus shows are doing well, but when is Star Wars coming back to the big screen, and when does it come back to theaters? What will it look like? High Republic Episode 10, The Mandalorian on the big screen. What it looks like, and there's a report today, Chris. It seems like they're adamant to try to get this Taika Waititi movie out by next year. Now, if that is the case, and they're really standing strong to this, they are saying that they're going to get this thing out by 2023. That is a year and a half from now. There's two sides to look at here. A, they're already well in production of this thing. They're keeping it under wraps. They know who's in it. They're ready to go. They're going to start shooting soon, and that's why they're talking about it so much. B, they're full of shit and they're moving it. Both options, very, very possible. There's just no chance. There's no chance for them to, if there's no script written, if there is a script, but just a treatment, there's no casting, and they're going to say, okay, we got to do all that, start shooting by the end of the year, and then get it out there by December. That is pressure, and that is unlikely. So like I said, they already know what this thing is. They're keeping it super under wraps, or it's not coming out in 2023. I can't imagine it's coming out in 2023. Unless, unless it's a really good secret. The fact that nobody's leaked it, though, I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm very curious to hear what you guys think about that. I just can't. Do you guys think that that's going to happen? That's what I want to see the comments, and I'll even ask that question. Like, do you guys think that that's going to happen? I can't even imagine that. Shocked. Okay. Next one. I do want to get to this. I don't know how far down it is, but we'll get to it. Joseph Kosinski was recently talking about how he almost made Tron 3 before Disney canceled it. Top Gun Maverick proved that Kosinski has become a long way since he made Tron Legacy, so would you like to see a third Tron film? All right, this is a tricky one. I didn't see the firefighter movie that he did, so I can't speak on whether or not that's the best movie, but out of Oblivion and Tron, to me, this is his best film, Top Gun Maverick, that is. So I didn't dislike Tron. It's just kind of boring. But it's something that I was curious to see a second one for, or third, I guess. That's what when he says Tron 3. You forget that it's a sequel. It's weird though. I want to see him do something outside of working with Tom Cruise. And I know he's got that movie coming out, I guess, on Netflix. Is it Hemsworth? I'm not sure. I want to see, or is it Miles Teller? It might be Miles Teller. I want to see how that movie is without Tom Cruise involved, because I want to know how much, like, what the percentage was of who got what done on that movie. Now, I'm not taking anything away from Kristian at all. It might have been absolutely a lot of his choices, which is very, very possible. He's got a very good relationship with Tom Cruise, and I just want to see outside of it. So, because the script in Tron, like I said, was pretty dull, and I thought Oblivion was a bore as well. So, I'd be interested in it, but and again, I want to give him the benefit of the doubt because I thought that this is one of my favorite movies in a very long time. So yeah, well, I'm curious to see what he does, and especially if the Netflix thing is good, I'd be up for it for sure. Okay, next one. Moving on, moving right along. Tom Lewis, speaking of Top Gun Maverick, he says, "Can Patty Jenkins make a Rogue Squadron as great as Top Gun Maverick?" That is an unfair question, Tom, for a lot of different reasons. So, do I think? I'll answer it with hopefully with a fair answer. Do I think that she can make a Star Wars Top Gun movie, or excuse me, Rogue Squadron movie as good as Top Gun Maverick? No, I don't. That has nothing to do with Patty Jenkins whatsoever. If you asked me a lot of different directors, I'd probably say no, they can't. Why? Well, I think there's too many cooks in the kitchen when it comes to Star Wars, especially in movies. I think that when it came to Top Gun Maverick, I really think that it came down to both director and Tom Cruise. Obviously, there are other people that had things to say, but for the most part, I think that's who's making those decisions. I think there's a lot of cooks in the kitchen. There's a lot of panic when it comes to Star Wars movies because they need something to hit. And now the directive might be, we got to make Top Gun. We got to make Top Gun. We got to do the same type of thing. There's also and that's a lot of pressure for anybody. It doesn't matter who the director is. There's also the reason why Top Gun. One of the reasons Top Gun was so special was even though there were some special effects, obviously it relied on practical, and it looked like everything was real, and they didn't over CGI it, and they didn't over cook it with big scenes and big action scenes. They were there, but it was the lead up and everything that built to it. And I don't think Star Wars feels that they can do that in the movies because they feel like everyone's paying for the big spectacle and they got to make it a spectacle. So that's part of it. The other thing is the emotional connection that was there with Top Gun Maverick. Depending on what the story is, and we don't know, I think that it's supposed to tie more towards the new trilogy. I don't know which characters it would be that we would be emotionally attached to. Like Maverick, we had kind of followed his journey, and even if you didn't know it, they set it up well enough that you were on his emotional journey with him. So I just don't think that they would be able. Now, could they make a great movie inside of this? Yeah, of course they could. They could make a great one. Do they think they'll make it as good as Top Gun Maverick? No, that's going to be a hard movie to beat, and that's not just Star Wars. That's regular movies in general. At least for me, it was very. I haven't had an experience like that going to the movies in a very long time, especially one that I wanted to go back and watch the next day. So, yeah, I don't think so, and I hope I'm wrong. I'd love for a lot of movies to be just as good as Top Gun Maverick, because that means let's keep going to the movies. Julian Remus, did you watch the George Carlin documentary on HBO Max? Love to hear your thoughts. I am about an hour into part 2. I watched part 1. Yeah, George Carlin, for those people, an hour, maybe, whatever. They just got to. So I discovered George Carlin when I was very young. My buddy, who I've mentioned on this show, Brian Cascia, who passed away during 9/11, he introduced me to George Carlin, and it was George Carlin at Carnegie, and I couldn't believe it because I never heard anybody talk like that, with the curses, but it was also extremely funny with the faces and everything too. And it was where I first fell in love with stand-up comedy, and continued to watch all of his specials and everything until I was doing stand-up, and I have the ticket on the wall over there where I went and saw him. It was not too long before he passed away, but I got to see him perform live. And he was he's the champion of. I did a video on this channel of who I thought were the top 5 stand-up comedians of all time, and I have him at number 1 with Richard Pryor at number 2. I think that Carlin was just incredible, and I knew a lot. Obviously I've studied him for many years, but there were a lot of things that I didn't know, and watching some of the stuff and watching the things that he went through, and I was very aware of the fact that how he started as the hippy dippy weatherman and all that, and how he changed. I didn't know a lot about his dad, which I found, and his brother, and what happened with them, and really, it's a really great documentary. It really is. And if you haven't watched it, and if you don't know a lot about George, you should watch it to learn more about George. If you knew a lot about it and you want to learn more, like me, you should check it out. I'm definitely going to finish it. I think it's fantastic, and I think anybody who loves stand-up comedy, anybody who does stand-up comedy, anybody at all, and they have some great interviews from a lot of different people inside of it. That it's pretty fantastic, and I'm looking forward to finishing it, because I just they're only like him and Robin Williams are the 2 stand-up comedians that, for me, I watched them very differently than I watched other stand-up comedians, and I related, and that there was just ways that, I don't know, there's something about their personalities, their style, that I tried to, the same way that when Carlin was watching Lenny Bruce and these other things, these Danny Kaye and things, like, as he was watching that type of stuff, I was watching those guys, and that's the type of stuff that, if you've been in New York when I was doing my things, I have bits that are certainly influenced by both of those guys. And to watch what he did, where he came from, his love of language, the ups and downs of his career, and the relationship with his wife. And I remember when his wife passed, how that really just how long they've been together and the things that they went through. So it's fascinating. It really is. And I absolutely, I love it. I absolutely love it. All right. Next one. Chris G. With a show like The Offer that shows the making of The Godfather, what other movie would you make a compelling show about the making of? I got to just jump to a Star Wars one just real quick, and I'd have to say The Force Awakens. They would never do it, but I'm so curious to see, what really happened there in The Force Awakens. Very curious inside of that one. Another one that, I don't know. They did Citizen Kane, right? They did a few others. I mean, there's a lot of movies. Nothing to come to mind, but there's tons that I'd love to see the making of and be. It's about the story. It's about the story, because that's what makes The Offer so interesting. Is that it's the idea of the story in general, where Paramount was at the time, the fact that all these different. Like the story, they didn't want Pacino, the idea that they were going to fire Coppola off the movie so many times, the fact that the real mob got involved. I mean, there's just so much inside of that story that to me is absolutely fascinating. I'm working on getting Dan Fogler on this show to talk about. He plays Coppola, young Coppola. So I want to just do a full episode just talking to him about that show. Anyway, all right, next one. Next one. I want to get to the main topic, obviously. Are you watching The Boys season 3 tonight? Have you watched the first season? No, I'm first of all, I'm not watching season 3 because I haven't watched any. My goal was to watch the first 2, but I just got caught up in so much stuff. It is on my list, Kenny. I'm going to get to it eventually. Mustang Red 1967. Are you stoked for Indy 5? Next June, but still, yeah, I'm really stoked. I have this ongoing thing with Kalinowski. He was like, I don't know, they should just end it after Crystal Skull. Crystal Skull was George Lucas and Spielberg trying to do a movie in a different type. I love them. They're the best. But they were trying to do a different type of movie in a different time. And even in 2007 or whenever it came out, or was it 2008? I don't remember. But when they put that movie out and they tried to make it in this kind of cheesy, campy thing, and Harrison Ford was not engaged, Mangold's doing this movie, man. Have you seen? I can't believe the amount of people that are like, let it go. Blah, 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 blah. Have you not seen what Mangold, I believe that you have to look at people's work over the last couple of years and say, okay, well, they're coming off of that, and they're coming off of that, and they want to tackle that. Well, give them the benefit of the doubt. I can't understand how many people are like, it's over after Crystal Skull. No, you can't do anything with it ever again. He's too old. If it was Spielberg, and I know it's blasphemous to say, but if it was Spielberg and Lucas doing this right now, I would be more wary. Now, West Side Story, I think, was one of Spielberg's best movies in a long time. The Post, great movie. It's some of the stuff I feel is a little, I don't know, the way he makes the big blockbusters seems a little dated. I know, it's blasphemous. I'm sorry. But Mangold right now, Mangold's on fire. And I want to see what he does and what he gets out of Harrison Ford. So, yeah, I'm actually very excited for Indy 5. Really excited for it. I think Mangold's going to bring some heat. So, yeah, that's one of my most anticipated for June. When I do my list, it's going to be high up there, no doubt. I'm very excited for that one. Oh, we did that one. Where is it? So someone actually, question's not coming up, but someone asked about our rewatch series, about if we're going to do Toy Story. The answer is yes. Toy Story actually comes out. Our first rewatch is tomorrow. Tomorrow at 9 a.m. with me, Winston, and Coy. So look out for that. This question. Steven Sommers. Pineapple on pizza, yes or no? Clearly you haven't been following me that long. You might as well take a shit on my pizza. No pineapple on pizza. Ben Rayner, how would you end up ranking the Star Wars shows so far? For me, I have Obi-Wan on top, and the last episode is my favorite. See, Obi-Wan's only 3 episodes in, so I'm not going to be able to rank it that high because I have the first episode I liked really. I really liked the first one. Second one was okay with a great ending, with the Vader in the tank, and then the third episode I thought was fantastic. But it could end poorly, or it could end wonderfully. But where we are right now, I would go Mandalorian Season 2, Mandalorian Season 1, Obi-Wan, and then Boba Fett. That's unless and then Bad Batch. But unless if we're doing all of the shows, all the animated, well, then I have to change that up a little bit. If we're doing all the animated, then if we're including everything as far as Star Wars television goes, I would say the first would be, once again, Mando Season 2, Mando Season 1, Rebels. Shoot, all the seasons. I don't know if I could rank all the seasons. I don't remember them all in it, but let's just put them all together. Rebels, Obi-Wan, well, Clone Wars, Obi-Wan. And again, I think Obi-Wan could probably leap over it. Boba Fett, and then Bad Batch, and then the other one. What was the other one called? Resistance, or I don't remember what it was called. I didn't watch too much. So that's it. That's where I go with those. All right, next one. If it's not the one that if it's not this one that it's not. I'll get back to it. I got to cover this because it's on the damn thumbnail. O'Shea Jackson Jr. He's going to be in Obi-Wan Kenobi. We know this. It's been announced. So, again, I mean, at this point, I think that I've given spoilers already. People know what's happening in Obi-Wan, so there's going to be a spoiler again. This guy, Quinlan Vos. He was a Jedi that appeared first in the Phantom Menace in like as an extra, and then they, like they do in all of Star Wars, they make everybody canon and give him a backstory, and they started giving him one, and he became a regular in Clone Wars. And then he was also the subject of it was called Dark Disciple, and Dark Disciple was one of it's a very underrated novel, by the way. It's a very underrated novel, and it's both Quinlan Vos and Asajj Ventress. There it is. And it's Christy Golden is the author. And I was another one that I really, really enjoyed. There's a lot of stuff inside of that Quinlan Vos actually goes to the dark side, and he comes back to it. He studies under Dooku at one point, but he's able to get himself back. And it's a very underrated novel. Not a lot of people talk about it, but it's a canon novel, and it potentially plays into whatever the hell happened to, because Obi-Wan was the one who, after, I think it's the end of the novel, Obi-Wan and Anakin like pretty much fight for Vos to be able to stay the Jedi, stay after the stuff that he did, and they accept him, and Vos is like, I can't really ever repay you for that, but I'm gonna try. And so maybe that's where it plays into it. And they mention that Quinlan Vos is alive. They say, Quinlan was here. So yeah, he comes in, he helps out. So there's a lot of different rumors flying around. Now, O'Shea Jackson's a pretty big dude. Now, some people think that he might have been in the droid suit, and that's why he grabbed the club and was going to bash the stormtrooper over the head with it. Possible. That's part one. And still is possible that he could be inside of that suit. Question is, why? Unless he's someone hiding out in that suit. You could also see how maybe Quinlan Vos is hiding out in that, and it is O'Shea Jackson. The only thing is that O'Shea Jackson's like 30 years old. Quinlan Vos, I think, would be in his 40s at this point. It's not that big of a deal. Could retcon that a little bit. So I don't know. It's funny because I didn't. So Ryan Nielsen, who was on SEN for a while, he texted me and he's like, "Hey, my theory is I think that O'Shea Jackson is going to play Quinlan Vos." And I said, "I don't know. I don't even think they're going to show Quinlan Vos in this series. I just don't think there's enough time to do it. But maybe he gets help. Maybe that's who Obi-Wan gets help from in the next couple of episodes, which is very possible. People are starting to rumor it around. I don't know, but listen, that's Vos. Here's O'Shea Jackson. I mean, yeah, you could throw that hair on him and put, the yellow tattoo. I could see it for sure. Yeah, I could see it. I don't know if they're going to do it. I don't know. I think that Quinlan Vos could also show up in other series or in other places. So whether or not he's going to, or should he, I'm not really, the age thing's not that big of a deal. You could always change that up a little bit too. And I just thought that Quinlan Vos was, it's been 10 years since that happened. Quinlan Vos wasn't 20 years old when he was running around with the Asajj Ventress storyline. But like I said, they could also say that he's 35, 36. He could play it. So, and they might not even mention his freaking age. So what the hell do I know? So, all right, here's the other question. Zayad Jamal, as today marks exactly 20 years since The Wire premiere, where does it rank among your top shows of all time? What would your top 10 shows be ever? Oh, man, that's a harder list to do, the top 10 shows. I'll just give you in no particular order ones that will definitely be in my list. Breaking Bad, Sopranos, The Wire, for sure. Trying to think. I know it's recency bias, but I mean, I love The Mandalorian, man. I can't miss. The way I look at it is just shows I can't miss. I don't mind like Game of Thrones to me is is a show that it was another one that I couldn't really had to watch. I always had to watch. So I put Game of Thrones in there. I mean, there's so many other shows that I'm just not coming to mind as I'm thinking about it. But the ones that I think of right away are Breaking Bad, The Wire, and The Sopranos. Those are the three that like. There's no doubt. There's other ones that if you mention when I'm looking at comments, I'm sure that I'll be like, oh yeah, that one as well. That one as well. All right. Next one. Okay, hold on. Next one. Where is I got some. Okay. And this is perfect. I was waiting for it. But Jeremiah Wise, do you think there's a shot at O'Shea Jackson Jr. could appear in Kenobi as Quinlan Vos? He's cast, yeah. That one I just did a whole thing on. We did the one on Frank Stallone already. Sal Sicali, do you watch Dwayne Johnson's Young Rock show? It's really entertaining and funny. I love all the wrestlers that are in that show. Macho Man, Andre the Giant, Iron Sheik. It's a really underrated show. You know, I started watching that show with my daughter, and we really liked it. And I don't know what happened. We just fell off it, but I did enjoy it. My buddy Adam Ray is in it. Plays Vince McMahon. He's killing it right now. He's also in that. He was in that Julia Roberts movie lately. He just did an interview with Miles Teller. He's doing great right now. I gotta get him on the show too. Anyway, so I do want to check out Young Rock because I hear really great things. So I might dive into Peacock and check that out. I'm gonna finish up The Offer, which I'm watching. Probably watch the new episode tonight. And someone's going to ask me quick about it. And I'll answer it this time. I'll wait. I think somebody's asking me soon. No. Justin Square, can you please talk about any behind-the-scenes details about finally turning Dan Murrell heel and having him be your Hollywood Hulk Hogan moment for the Schmodown? I'm shocked that you were able to pull that off, and I can't wait to see more of heel Dan. I love what Reboot has done for the Schmodown overall. Well, thank you so much, Justin. For people who've been watching Schmodown and checking out Friday Night Titans, I thank you. If you haven't, please check out Friday Night Titans. It is easily the best Schmodown has ever been. We talk about it. I can't even tell you how many people I've talked about that with. I feel like it is the season that more people should be watching that aren't, and it is easily the best, for sure. So you should go and check that out. But your answer to how it was actually, Justin, a lot easier than you would think. In the past, I had said to Dan Murrell, it's like, hey, how about like a heel moment? It's like, I don't know, man. It's just not for me. I don't know, man. It's just not for me. Many times over. And then when we were talking about Danger Zone, and I thought the guys needed to split up and move along. I didn't think that it was working out. And I started thinking about it because the team division started getting thin. And so I called Dan and I go, well, what if we kept you guys together, but I have an idea for an angle, and we do kind of like a fake out to the audience and a fake out to Kaiser, and it would require you guys being ultra bad guys in order to make this work. And he said, I'll do it. I said, really? He's like, yeah, I'll do it. But with Dan, I said, I only want you to do stuff that you're comfortable with. And I presented all this stuff, and he took the angle and just really flew with it, and is having, because I think that when Dan came in to the league, it was purely the trivia side of it, and then as it evolved into more storyline, he started to get it more, and he's very humble, and he doesn't really give himself a lot of credit on how good he is. Like when he cuts normal promos, when he cuts things, like he's really good, and he comes from a place of passion wherever he's coming from, and some of his one-liners are hilarious. Like the thing that he said about to Frank Janish about the garbage take, that was all him. He came up with that. So he's great in this role. He's having a lot of fun. So yeah, it was a blast to do. So thank you for the kind words, my friend. All right. Alexis Garcia, excuse me. Fun question. How are the kids? Well, thank you, Alexis. The kids are doing good. They're they're ready for summer break. Thank you. Tej Sagani. Cheese slice or pepperoni slice. Cheese slice, always. Sal again. Have you seen the HBO Max martial arts period Warrior that was written, conceptualized by Bruce Lee? It's amazing. I've heard great things about Warrior. Great things. I have not seen it yet. I plan to. That's all I can say about it. It's my birthday. Happy birthday, Ross. Is Top Gun Maverick the greatest legacy sequel of all time? It's up there. It is up there. It's another one. We talked about the sequel. Where's the one? I'm sorry. I want to do. We did that one right. There's one I want to see. I'm sorry. Where is it? Oh, I can't find it. I'm going to end with this. Stranger Things. I am 2 episodes in. Really enjoying season 4 thus far. I hear great things. I hear that it really delivers, and so far I can see why. I can definitely tell the horror Nightmare on Elm Street angle that everyone was talking about and how it absolutely feels that way. But I am digging it, and I'm going to finish watching them as soon as I finish that. I do think, though, I will say, even though, and I'm sure most people who have seen Stranger Things and have seen Obi-Wan, most people, if I was to guess, if you asked the majority of people which one you like better, I think from what I've seen so far, people who've watched both, most people are going to say Stranger Things as far as content goes, if I was going to guess, as far as quality goes. Curious how you guys feel about that. But here's where I say that, to me, Obi-Wan is winning. Even if Stranger Things did well for Netflix, right? Obi-Wan is winning the pop culture conversation. Obi-Wan is winning overall, and it's not necessarily just because it's Star Wars. I think it's because I believe that this binge-watching thing is a thing of the past. I know there are some people like, don't say that. I love it. I love doing it. It takes that IP out of the equation and conversation fast. It dropped right during Star Wars Celebration. It dropped right when Obi-Wan was. Obi-Wan came out early. And I saw people talking about Stranger Things, but not the way they did in the past when it dominated the conversation, because that's all anybody was doing was just watching Stranger Things because there was no other competition and everybody was just watching it for a couple days. I saw my buddy Adam Lavick the other day. He's like, I'm just so used to the week by week now that I haven't had a chance to catch up with Stranger Things. I haven't either, and I gotta get a chance to try to knock out a few of them so I can review it, and let you guys know, because and that's not taking away from the production quality. I actually think that they're doing a lot of things way better than anything that Obi-Wan's done, and Disney Plus in general. Disney Plus does these 30-minute, 40-minute episodes. And Stranger Things is doing an hour and 10, hour and 15-minute episodes, like little mini movies each time, with pure quality involved in it. So I think they're doing things better. I just think that Netflix is still too attached to this binging thing. I think that if they did it week by week, the way that everybody else does, I think that Stranger Things would be way more in the conversation and might be doing better. I know they did very well on the drop, but it starts to get lost in the conversation because Obi-Wan will have 6 weeks. Ms. Marvel will have 5-6 weeks, all of these shows. I mean, the Offer. The Offer is another one. Like, I'm bummed that it's not all there and I can't watch more of it, but I look forward to Thursdays now. And if you remember on Collider Live, I was like, you got to binge it. Give me all. I want it all. I've changed my tune. I think week to week is much better for the show. It's much better for the conversation of the show, and it keeps it in the conversation. But that's me. All right. I hope you enjoyed this one. I had a blast with you guys, and it's, again, sorry for the late show, but I'm doing what I'm doing. So here it is. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel, hit that button, like, share, do all of it. Please, please, please do not forget about Storyblocks, and please do not forget about Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and then all the shirts and stuff that we have. Big things, Sith Council, all of it. All right. You guys rule. We'll see you on the next one. Peace out, everybody. Yeah.
Apologies. Apologies.